Take 3 to 4 minutes. Think about what you're going to write on and which examples. How can you make it look real? How can you make it look authentic? That someone believes you're talking to them, believes you have gone through that experience, believes that is what you have faced actually. Make it, put dates, put names, make it look real and authentic to show that you know what you're talking about. Hey, welcome there. So in this video, after getting a CLB 11, this is a writing practice workshop session where I show you how you can answer for a CLB 9 plus. The response, there are key things you need to take into consideration, and this is everything you would need to know on how you can get a CLB 9 plus. So when it comes to the exam, there are 4 key things that examiners always look for you to answer. We have the content and the coherence, we have the vocabulary, we have the readability, and lastly, we have the task fulfillment. So I'll share my screen with you. You and me, let's walk through. This is a workshop. So take a piece of paper. Let's see how you can follow through and let's get along. So, okay, if you can see my screen, this is what we have laid down here. And this is a complete explanation of the performance standard for a high score, 9 plus. So there are 4 categories that you should know. 4 main categories. We have the content or coherence. This is your number of ideas and quality points. How many ideas did you come up with? When it comes to the CLB, for a high CLB level 9 plus, you need to be very specific and also to give relevant examples that match your task, what you've been asked to say. Coming up in the example, the workshop we're going to use is you writing to a restaurant manager about the food, the service, and the overall refund. So this, you can get it from the CElPIP website. This is the workshop we are going to look at. And what are some of the things that examiners want to see you demonstrate before you can earn a high CLB level? Number 1, we've spoken about your content and coherence, which when broken down, it's about the number of ideas and also the quality of them. How important is it? Rich enough? Does it make sense? Number 2 is your relevant examples. When speaking, this is the key. You must be specific enough. In the CElPIP exam, it's real Canadian life exam. So you should make it real, specific enough, as though you are speaking to a real person, someone you can actually see. And own the experience, or if you've not gone through such an circumstance or experience, borrow someone else or imagine. That is why you need to understand the exam format. Okay, you need to know what's it like for the exam, and you can watch my video. I've produced a video about that, my experience to a CLB 11, and then you need to know the exam format. Not only that, how is it like to write an email? There is a way you have to write an email. You have the greetings, and then introduction, and then your body paragraphs, and then your conclusion. Dear manager, dear customer, whatever you want to write it there. And then next off, that is the structure. Next off, before you write your email, take 3 to 4 minutes. Think about what you're going to write on and which examples. How can you make it look real? How can you make it look authentic? That someone believes you're talking to them, believes you have gone through that experience, believes that is what you have faced actually. Make it, put dates, put names, make it look real and authentic to show that you know what you're talking about. Next off, you have to organize your ideas and specific details. When you speak or when you write, it's not all about just speaking or just writing. It should be coherent. It should be organized. This is where 5 plus to 8 in the CLB level are differentiated from 9 to 12 because of the way you are explicit, comprehensible, complex structure. Complex structure talks about you putting short sentences together to form one long sentence, complete sentence or paragraph, which brings out the same logical sense and the same critical flow of what you are actually talking about. So next, the guiding question for today is, how you know you've answered that, is how well are your ideas organized and developed? Does it make sense? Is it real? And next thing you want to take into consideration actually is your vocabulary. You have been rated on your vocabulary. Vocabulary talks about your word choices. Which words did you use? How did you use them? Does it make sense in the passage you have written? And did you repeat words or did you not? So here you can actually paraphrase it, use synonyms, make it look Take the same question you've been asked and paraphrase it in your own way. So in the workshop, actually, you're going to see all of that. Paraphrase it in your own way and make it look real. And also, which suitable words did you use? How suitable were your words? And were they precise and accurate to what you've been asked to discuss on? This is your vocabulary here. And is it precise and well accurate enough? When you're writing, are you following everything that you've been asked to talk on? Does it make sense? Is it real and is it relevant? Next up, and the guiding question for this is, what is the range of your vocabulary? And can you use it naturally when writing? And keep this in mind. Do not use a word you don't know. This can only get you into trouble. Do not use a word. Use words during practice. You've worked with them, you've practiced with them, you can actually speak them out, you can write them correctly, and you can use them coherently to make it flow. And the next thing up after your vocabulary that examiners actually look is your readability. Readability is how is the format that you follow, the format of writing an email. Is it formal or is it informal? Which one actually? And your number of paragraphs. How many paragraphs did you give? Did you cite lines or the different points you've been asked to talk about? Connectors and transition. How did you transition from one paragraph to another? Does the paragraph, your first paragraph to your second paragraph, is there a connection between the two? Did you actually make people see that you're going to another paragraph to talk about the next point? This is what you want to take into consideration. Also, you have grammar and sentence structure. How is your grammar? Grammar is your number of words that you actually use, and vocabulary plays the same role. And also, the sentence structure talks about how complex, how precise, how well elaborate, how extensive, how in-depth are you when it comes to you writing an email or writing a survey. So next up, we are going to talk about the survey writing, how you can earn the CLB 9+ with relevance and how these things work. Next off is your spelling and punctuation. You don't really have to worry about spelling because the word checkers are there, the spelling checkers are there. So they would maybe highlight red for you to know that the spelling is wrong, to reorganize it. And also you should know that words that mean similar things or words that also mean something in English, the spell checker cannot detect because it means something in English. So it's for you to know if that word is correct for that sentence or not. And your pronunciation is really not a problem. This comes about in the speaking section. To continue, the guiding question you want to ask yourself when it comes to this is how easy it is to write, to read and understand your response. If I read what you've written, can I understand it? Or can someone else read and understand? So this is what differentiates CLB 5+ and CLB 9+, because 9+ actually read, when they write to make you understand. This is their situation. This is what they have gone through. This is what they know. So when they write to you based on what they have gone through, based on what they have done. And it's not general. It's very specific. It's very complex and also brings out your imagination with relevant examples to match what it is. To continue, we also have lastly is a tax fulfillment that examiners actually mark on. And tax fulfillment talks about your relevance. What you've written, is it relevant to what you've been asked to do? Does it make sense? Overall, is it important? Does it make sense? Next is your completeness. Did you complete all the bulleted points you've been asked to write on? You have 26 minutes. Did you do all of that? Next is your tone. Now, your tone is being interpreted from the wordings that you use, from how you write. This is where your tone comes into play. So no matter what, do not use aggressive tone. You can be formal, you can express anger without using hashy words, so much exclamation signs. These things actually bring out aggressiveness from you, and examiners will not really appreciate that. So no matter what, never you go above and beyond the edge. Stay within the borderlines of a constructive and polite nature. Even if you're giving a concern, give out your concern in a polite way. And lastly is your word count. It's between 150 to 200 words. Those who actually score high actually get closest to 200, if not slightly beyond. And you should know this. You have 10% increase or 10% decrease with your writing before it becomes a problem. So if you cannot meet 150, you earn at 135, it's not problem. It's not a problem. But if you exceed 220 words, you are being penalized after that. Those who score high actually clock 200 most often, either are closest or a little bit beyond, because they expatiate their ideas with using complex structures and things that make it look more real, specific, and authentic. The guiding question for this is, how well did you follow the instruction? Did you use an appropriate tone? That is a question. Now, this is the exercise we are doing together. In this exercise, if you can actually see the screen, is you recently made reservations for dinner at a very famous and expensive restaurant in town. However, the meal and the service were terrible. The restaurant manager was not available, so I'll increase the screen actually, was not available to solve the problem. So you left without a resolution. Now, you left without a resolution. So state the problems you had with the food in 150 to 200 words. Complain about the service. Describe how you want the restaurant to resolve the problem to your satisfaction. And now this is my response. If you can actually see the screen. Dear manager, it saddens my heart to uncover such a disappointing experience we had about the most renowned restaurant downtown Laville. Now, you are actually calling the name. You are addressing the manager, and then in the opening sentence, you are paraphrasing what you've been asked to talk about. Next off, you are using names to make it more specific. So, known for its quality standard and dishes. My wife and I were not pleased for these reasons, and here are my suggestions for compensation. So this is everything paraphrased in the opening, making the reader know that coming next are the different points that you can actually follow. All this will give you a CLB 9+. Follow these instructions and you will be just good. To begin with, we booked a reservation for Friday the 5th of March at 8 p.m. We arrived and our table was occupied by another couple without our prior concern and no identity verification from their end, causing us to wait for another 30 minutes to be seated and only to welcome a devastating feeling. We received a bowl of salt bath beef pasta and water-filled sauce with no taste we ordered 50 minutes earlier. This is the problem. Don't forget, the first bulleted point talks about your problem, the problem you had with the meal. And this is where complex structure comes in. If you can see, there are no full stops there. You have only commas, which means joining short sentences together to form one long, complete sentence that gives the same sense, the same logical flow as well. This is how you are being scored when it comes to your content and your coherence, your quality point. So this is a quality point where I address the food is 205 words. So it's still within the range actually. So in this passage, I address the food saying that first off, we've waited for over 30 minutes to be seated. Next off, it took 15 minutes for us to receive the food. Only to receive the food, it is water bath pasta, salt bath pasta, beef pasta, and water-filled sauce, which means it has no taste. It was watery, and then the pasta was filled with salt. We didn't enjoy the meal. This is an expression. Now, next off is when we are talking about the service, and we are diving into the next point using transitional words. And descriptive adjectives, actually, if you say how I describe these are descriptive adjectives being used in play. This shows your in-depth of vocabulary and grammar. To continue, complaining to the waitress about the food, she gave my family a carefree attitude and snubbed, walking away saying, I have more guests to serve and not your family alone, and neither can you be refunded nor compensated. This is a real life situation. Have you ever been to a restaurant where the service actually snubs at you? Now, this actually makes it look real. Maybe you've been in that condition or in that situation before, and this is how the rude ones, this is how they actually reply you. So this is where I talk about the service, the next point. Look, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. 4 major paragraphs where you have the introduction. I introduce a problem and what I want to be done. Next up, I talk about the first bullet point, the second bullet point, and lastly, how I want it to be resolved. This is the last point where I say I want it to be resolved, and you use more specifics, like view, dates, and my wife and I make it look real. Laville is not known for such reports. However, we would like to be compensated with another free date with you completely covering our expense and consumption, or a full refund of the reservation fee and our mail through PayPal details at your request. So I am saying that I'll send you my PayPal request and you can refund me, or better still, if you don't want to, then offer me a free day where you cover all the expense. This is how I want it to be refunded. Hoping to receive your response. Kind regards, Luke. So this is a workshop on how you can actually go about with your writing. So far, if this makes sense, then like, subscribe, leave a comment on what you'd like to see next. In the next video is a survey workshop on how you can actually write a survey. Just a recap. Before you take this email writing, take 3 to 4 minutes. Think about what you want to say. Write it down so it has it follows the same chronological order, quality content, and coherence. Use vocabulary and grammatic words to give your expression, make it look real. Just as you can see here, this is when you read it, you actually see the reality in it, you see the realness in it, the grammar, the vocabulary. This is exactly how you can score a CLB 9 plus. Follow these instructions, you'll be just fine. For personalized lessons, you can reach me through my email here. You and me one-on-one, we work this out together. I hope this adds you value to what you already know, and I look forward to meeting you to the survey workshop. See you there.